need to say, where am I going? What do I have to do to get there? Great. How much does that cost me? Then it's, can I afford it? Oh, I can't. So then what's the second best option, or the third best option? How do I scale this great idea down? Maybe it's going to be X amount less, but it's still better than where I am today. I would start with that, because people try to make it work with what they have versus trying to think, what is it that I need to achieve what I desire?
This is a big one. Let's discuss the importance of financial planning and management for business growth, and give us some tips to create a financial plan and budget that supports, your growth strategy.
One, let's start by just saying, like, we have to make sure we understand all the numbers ourselves. That's just the start of it. Like, do we understand how our business operates? Do we understand all the ins and outs of a P&L statement? I want to start with that, because sometimes people just aren't comfortable with saying, hey, I don't understand this. And I've been that person before. But I want more entrepreneurs, more franchisees, more franchisors just to say, hey, I don't understand how to take this step in financial planning. I don't know what budget I should create. I don't know how this works. Someone teach me. Because of all the brands I've led, the number one thing that I have seen in terms of trends from franchisees and a lot of team members of franchisors is they do not understand what a P&L statement is.
Oh my God.
Seriously, I used to think it was a joke. I used to think it was, oh, this is just a one-off, but it's been every single brand. And when you ask former leaders of these brands, they usually say the biggest disconnect between franchisor and franchisee was business acumen. And I've had this response from every brand I've led that was a franchise. So from 5 different brands, there's been at least one franchisee who have said, if I've asked the question, how are you doing in your business? How are you performing? And I've always gotten the answer, well, I have money left over in my bank account, so I must be doing okay. And that's only one view of the story, right? If you have money in your bank account, okay, fine. You might be doing well, but how much better could you be doing? And are you about to go bankrupt or is this something sustainable? You have to really get into the numbers and understand it. And I'm just a huge advocate of trying to educate more people on all the ins and outs and provide content and just services to help people really get that, so they can help their franchisees and their future team members understand it as well.
Yes, because P&L's, profit and loss statements, it is a whole different. I feel like it's a whole another world that you kind of like go into, and you're like swimming around, like, what is this? And it's so powerful, so simple, yet so overlooked. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and it's no one's fault, right? I look at the franchisors as the people who should take responsibility in teaching this to franchisees, especially. But in terms of the planning, what is that? What is that strategy for you? What are you trying to get to? You want to get to 50 units? You want to get to 20 units? Are you trying to just increase your top line sales across your whole organization? Like, what is your plan? And then you can work backwards from that. But a lot of times people jump into a budget by looking at what they have and or what they did last year and just trying to make it work. But I would always start with the end in mind. So from a strategic standpoint, what are you trying to accomplish? There's got to be an objective, and just pick one. Just pick one, overarching objective for your year. Let's say maybe 3 years, 5 years. But what's that objective? You want to achieve 20% top line growth. You want to achieve 50%, franchise locations. What are you trying to do? And make sure that is strong and clear. And then you're going to figure out what action steps actually have to, occur to achieve that. And then that's going to tell you how much funds you actually need. Now, if some people start with, oh, well, I had 20 grand in this budget last year. Now I can probably afford 25 grand. Okay, now team, what can 25 grand get me? And that usually is not the answer you need. You need to say, where am I going? What do I have to do to get there? Great. How much does that cost me? Then it's, can I afford it? Oh, I can't. What's the second best option or the third best option? How do I scale this great idea down? And if I knew I needed X, Y, and Z to achieve it, then if I can only get X and Y, okay, then maybe it's going to be X amount less, but it's still better than where I am today.
Wow.
I would start with that, because people try to make it work with what they have versus trying to think, what is it that I need to achieve what I desire?
And that's how you can avoid a plateau, by constantly taking baby steps to get to your goal versus just continuing to deal with what you just have. And it's like, how long? It's like a hamster wheel going around.
Right. And now get it. Capital is a restraint. So if you don't have access or you're not going to get more funds approved, you have to work within your means. My point is just don't start by assuming that that's all you have. Like sometimes when you really see an objective that you know will be a game changer for you, you figure out how to find the money, whether that's reducing another line item, whether that's raising more capital, or just performing. Like there's always ways, but the hard part is if you don't know there's a better idea out there, you're not going to be looking on how to get creative enough to go and achieve it. You got to find that platform of, okay, what am I really trying to achieve? And from what I know, from what advisors tell me, my friends, whoever, what do I actually need to do? Do I need to go have a presence at that upcoming franchise show? Okay, that franchise show is going to cost me 10 grand to get the right booth I want and the travel. I don't have 10 grand. What am I going to do? Well, the results of that. You think you can land 2 to 3 new franchise deals? Okay, run the numbers. Is that investment worth it? Can you move some funds around if you really think it's that important? And if the answer is yes, you'll go and do it, and you'll start to get better results over time because you're making the right steps towards something that you know will have an impact.
Wow, that's major. That's major because a lot of people are like, I have to make money. I have to make money. And it's like the Mint makes money. You just have to go get creative ways to find it. You know, have to sell, do something unique, and gather the funds that you need.